I ride so that I don't die. When you follow the rules in New York, the infrastructure is created so that you die. Look at the way everyone has died in the last 10, 15, 20, 30 bicycle crashes. You got people following the rules, being good citizens, and then a truck makes a right turn and doesn't look to see if there's somebody right there and just runs them over. The city is failing human beings as a whole. They're treating cyclists like they don't matter. When you can run someone over and then when it goes to court, all you get is a 2 hour driving course or like a week's driving course and a $2,000 fine. What is that telling the rest of the truckers out there?
Yeah, because then if he did say that, then I was gonna kind of twist it in a way with the cyclist thing. Like, can you blame the drivers because the cyclists be driving crazy on the blocks? They don't stay in their lines all the time.
True.
They don't.
Yeah, but
they're doing these Idaho stops. They're
but
swerving
to
in and
that-
out. So if you get hit by a thing, that's on you.
Okay, so to that I would say look at the amount of cyclists, people dying from cyclists hitting them, and look at how many accidents are killing people whether it be on cyclists or pedestrians and each other. Cars kill more people than anything. It's like worse than
Can't compare those two though.
But that's not the conversation. The equivalent though is that, like, can you blame these cars for hitting these cyclists when the city isn't building safe infrastructure for the cyclists to ride in? Is it really the driver's fault? That's like the equivalent of sort of what you're saying. I would say it is the driver's fault. Don't crash these cyclists, right? But it does sound like you're pointing to a systemic issue.
It's the reality of the
sure.
situation.
Yeah, you're pointing to a systemic issue to kind of excuse the actions of the individual. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But.
I also don't agree with it, but when you're letting people go free and when for years and years you're running people over and you're getting away with it and everybody is kind of in and they're like, okay, so I'm not going to get in trouble if I run somebody over. What's the real issue? You know what I mean? Like it just creates a level of worthlessness to like life. It just, what is a life worth?
Just to be clear, because it sounds like you're doing it again, and I know you're not intending it. You're saying it makes sense that it's happening, but it's not okay that it's happening.
It does. That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay, cool.
It's happening
because it sounds like you're not saying that.
The system that they're failing us. They're on one end, they're not what happens when there's no laws? What happens when there's no police? No, I'm asking you guys. You guys.
No, it's obvious.
There's a state of lawlessness, right? And
bad
then
things.
People start doing bad shit, and that's what's happening. It's there's no repercussions. Somebody can fucking throw a bag of feces at somebody. Somebody can punch an old lady in the face, and then they get out. And there's like no real repercussion. There's no assistance for the mental ill when they have an episode and these things happen. There's no systems in place.
Donald Trump said once that he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and he wouldn't lose any voters. And maybe the man was right. Maybe we get closer and closer to that every day.
Yeah, no, you shoot a cyclist, I guarantee.
Yeah, I just think it's a way that you say things that it
and I just want clarity.
It just makes it sound like when you're saying, because like, all right, I'm understanding what you're saying is like, it makes sense that this is happening because if the city isn't prosecuting these things, there are going to be people that are going to take advantage of the lack of prosecutions, right? Like, I get that. It's just when you couple that, when you're asking, did this guy do something wrong? It sounds like you're excusing the actions of him because the city isn't doing something. And I don't think we should excuse the actions of what he did. You should say what you did was wrong, regardless of whether the city's prosecuting people or not. It makes sense. It makes more sense that it happened, right? Like I could logic why someone would do something like that. It doesn't make it okay. Like,
no, for sure. And once again, I'm not saying that it's okay that this young man lost his life. But in New York, and why I shouldn't say but, this man shouldn't have lost his life. Period. Period.
Oh, I thought you were
He
gonna say
shouldn't have-
something else.
He shouldn't have lost his life. That shit was wrong. There's no buts about it. But
it's a good save. Usually they
just-
say everything you
says
say
but again.
before the but doesn't matter.
Yeah. So like the way I see it is like we're focused on his death, right? But like, how could we prevent these things from happening?
Well, the right wingers will
is the
tell
way
you,
I'm saying it.
don't make it political. All right, we need to stay right here. This is the death that matters, right?
Roll credits. Executive producer Dick Wolf.
I honestly feel like, yeah. How do we, like? It's sad, right? This person died. Blah blah blah. How now that this people's attention is on this issue, how do we leverage that attention into actual change into the city? And it sounds shitty to say, how do we capitalize off the death of this person is essentially what I'm asking. It sounds terrible, but it just is what it is, right?
Car
Like
drivers.
if we got the attention, when a mass shooting happens, people ask for gun reform,
Then we don't
right?
get
Because
it.
they're like, yo, the situation's out of control. A lot of right wingers would be like, now is not the time to talk about the guns. Think about the lives. It's like, yeah, but like, think about the lives. It's like, all right, guess we can't talk about why these things are happening, but
Yeah, and as far as the I think there's just more than just people just running people over. Like me just going to New York and seeing it firsthand, like no one gives a damn about the lines, no one gives a damn about lights. Like, so it's just like that's just a ticking bomb as well. Like I can see why people get killed riding a bike in New York City. It's just as bad as people riding a motorcycle in Florida.
But it's not like a bike runs into a car and kills everybody inside of it,
No,
right?
of course not. Though,
It's always
but
the other way around.
that's why it's more that you bikers should follow the lanes and stay in your lane and not cut off and not go through red lights. It's more you know what I mean? Like even you watching you speed through New York City, I'm like, yo, I'm stopping at every light. I'm looking both ways and when I'm going, like you just gotten so used to riding a certain way and you're just forgetting like how vulnerable you are to the rest of the world.
I ride so that I don't die. When you follow
That's
the rules,
crazy.
when you follow the rules in New York, the infrastructure is created so that you die. That's a proven fact. Look at the way everyone has died in the last 10, 15, 20, 30 bicycle crashes. You got people following the rules, being good citizens, and then a truck makes a right turn and doesn't look to see if there's somebody right there and just runs them over. And it's like, are the trucks evil? No, we're not going to call the people evil. We're not going to say that there's an issue with cars. But the city is failing human beings as a whole. They're treating cyclists like they don't matter. When you can run someone over and then when it goes to court, all you get is a 2-hour driving course or like a week's driving course and a $2,000 fine. What is that telling the rest of the truckers out there?
So let
Like
me ask
that
you
it-
this though. So do you think that guy going off of your example, do you think the guy that made that right turn and ran into the biker that's in the little bike lane and killed him, do you think he wasn't expecting that person to be there because the usual biker drivers are always just cutting traffic and not following the rules? So they gotten so used to people not following the rules that he's not expecting, even though he should have looked. I'm not saying it's not good. He should have
You're
looked.
Objection.
Jinx.
But-
Objection. Leading the witness.
but they're already, it's a normalized thing that the bikers just don't stop. They don't listen. They don't follow the rules. So if everyone's trained that way, I get it. He needs to look and be, you're a driver.
It's almost like you're advocating for cyclists. I can see why it happens. You're
It's
turning
kinda-
into
I'm
the
kinda turning what
into
you
the
was
devil's
doing a little bit.
advocate.
no, I think
Yeah.
everybody's gonna react to everybody's actions. If if there's never anybody parked in the bike lane, naturally people are just not going to check the bike lane.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when someone's parked there and something bad happens, it's like, well, shit. Like, you're not going to blame all the other bikers that don't stop in the bike lane. Like, I wouldn't. I would blame the truck driver who just ran somebody over.
Yeah.
But they've just been so used to, so accustomed to that.
That doesn't
like,
stop your training
it's not good, though.
as a truck driver, though, right? That's gonna supersede your training that you received in the CDL to like make sure you're checking your mirrors, make sure you're doing XYZ.
Yeah, and making sure you stop by the red light, not running it as a biker. Those are all
like,
these. You can use. That's what I'm saying. You can use your thing. You can use it both ways, bro.
I'm telling you, you're
two wrongs.
weird because I'm telling you that the people who did, you're almost the people who did do what you want them to do got killed because of the bad design.
Yeah, but Tony's saying, did they get killed because all the other people aren't doing the rule? If every biker stopped at every red light,
then
would
that doesn't.
The question is, do you think more people would die or less people would die? That's really the question.
I think that's like a straw man because if you, what would you say to every bad driver out there? Every driver that blew a red light.
You're doing like a what about? You're like changing. I'm just
saying what would
if everybody? I know, but I'm saying
you're gonna have people that break
at a red
the
light.
rules.
Do you think more people would die or do you think less people? Would
right
die?
now, not following what?
If all the cyclists stopped at red lights instead of doing Idaho stops, you think they would? Okay, perfect.
You'd have more deaths. That's what the statistics show.
That's what Tony's asking. That's it. You're just like not engaging with what he's saying.
But so I don't know how I'm not engaging because I'm trying to tell you that the design of the street is failing cyclists.
That's a different conversation, though.
If you do follow the rules, you have a higher chance of dying.
Well, yeah, that's a fine response. But that's not what you were saying. You were talking about, oh, what about the truck driver's training? It's like, no, he's just asking, do you think if everybody stopped at the red light, more people would die or less people? And you think more people would die. So that's it. That's his opinion. Tony, you think less people would die, right?
Yeah, people just follow the bike lanes.
I don't know enough about this issue to say either which way, to be completely honest.
I have no idea.
But at the end of the day, we know one thing. Cars are killing people. It's not cyclists killing cars. It's cars are killing people. And
I mean, people killing people.
That
right?
and nobody's really addressing the big issue.
Cars are killing people, Tony.
They kill pedestrians.
I knew that would make somebody laugh,
and you just look at the statistics. You're more likely to die in a car
I don't know why
accident.
this is an important distinction, though.
It's important because when you create, like I said, when you have a city with 9 million pedestrians and you're mixing them, you're giving them not enough walking space, you're giving them not enough anything, and you're getting a lot of people dying from from cars. The taxis have maimed people in the last few years. It's a huge issue, but nobody ever says we need to get rid of these cars when it's the main issue. You're literally looking at a killing machine in the city. They're murdering people, and there's really nothing being done about it. Now
just overpopulated, bro.
That's not an excuse.
Yeah, I wonder how bad these problems really are. That was one thing I was just thinking. Is like even if a lot of instances occur, we're talking about millions of people packed into a tiny space. It's like for all we know, the driving in New York City is safer than many other cities in America.
I'm not gonna
going 20 because the city mandated is 25 miles an hour, which makes it safe. So when you do get hit, you're at a slower rate, and people are higher.
I'm not saying it is safer. I was just saying, for all we know, you have the perception that is unsafe, but maybe it is more safe. You know,
blame the New York Post.
Right. Save us, Tony. We're looking. Yeah. We're like we added like a whole topic here.
Yeah, but yeah.